And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Okay, flying weather for Wednesday morning. Big band of IFR here from the western Brooks Range right on down along the southwest coast and then southwestward there over the Bering Sea. To the south of that, some marginal VFR for the Aleutians, mostly VFR for the Alaska Peninsula. And to the east, mostly VFR in the interior. Some IFR here along the western Alaska Range and up along the North Gulf Coast, east side of Kodiak Island. Good VFR here across the southeast coast. For the afternoon, IFR develops here along the North Gulf Coast with lowering conditions there for the northern panhandle, way up there to the north. Otherwise, southern areas stay VFR. IFR here, Alaska Range into the northern Kuskokwim Valley, but for the most part, the interior here staying pretty good. So looking at a band of IFR here from the northwest coast, Kivalina to Cape Lisburne, down across St. Lawrence Island, and to a lesser extent here into the southwest part of the state. And from there, going to Thursday morning, IFR, northwest part of the, western Brooks Range on down across the Kobuk Valley here into, trying to get into the Koyukuk Valley. And for the northern Bering Sea, IFR here down along the Yukon Delta coast, Nunivak Island, Pribilofs down into the central Aleutians, IFR for the North Gulf Coast, and more marginal for the Panhandle. For the afternoon, solid IFR here forecast for the southeast coast here and the North Gulf Coast with VFR Cook Inlet into the Susitna-Manuska Valley areas, Copper River Basin, as well as north of the Alaska Range there. But a big area of IFR across the Brooks Range covering the western North Slope and Arctic coast through the Bering Strait here into the northern Bering Sea, improving as you head south, marginal VFR for the Pribilofs, and then some VFR for Adak and Atka. And for the passes, Anaktuvuk for the day on Wednesday, VFR, wrong way, there we go. And both Anaktuvuk and Adak VFR forecast for both passes there in the Brooks Range. For Wednesday, Lake Clark and Merrill, IFR, especially on the eastern entrances. Rainy, IFR. Windy, VFR, with VFR flying for Isabel and Mentasta. And then for Tanita, marginal VFR turning toward IFR through the daytime and into the afternoon. Portage, IFR, sure bet there. And for Chilkoot and White, look for conditions to deteriorate throughout the day, becoming marginal VFR during the afternoon hours. Freezing levels, 2,000 feet here up over the eastern interior areas, otherwise down along the North Gulf Coast into the Panhandle. And for icing, areas of considerable moderate rime icing for the North Gulf Coast, Prince William Sound, and possibly over the western Alaska Range here with some lighter icing, areas of isolated moderate possible all along the west coast there, St. Lawrence Island, right on down to the southeastern Bering Sea, as well as the eastern Aleutians westward to possibly Adak. And for the jet stream, big area of low pressure out here over the Bering Sea, giving south to north flow here, up to 80 knots coming into the North Gulf Coast, and 65 knots from the south and southeast there over the interior. 9,000 feet, low pressure near Nunivak Island, south to north flow here across much of the interior, anywhere from 35 to 65 knots, and more of a westerly flow, 45 to 50 knots over the southeast Bering, central eastern Aleutians, Alaska Peninsula. 3,000 feet, low pressure near Nunivak Island. North winds up to 70 knots, getting a little brisk there from St. Lawrence Island into the northern Bering Sea. Southwest 45 to 50 across the eastern Aleutians in toward Bristol Bay. Pretty light over the eastern interior, southeast or east-southeast 25 for the eastern Arctic coast area, and about 35 knots there along the south-central coast of the Panhandle. 50 knots here across the Gulf, right on up into Prince William Sound. And with that, we're looking at considerable moderate turbulence here for the North Gulf Coast, Prince William Sound, into Turnagain Arm, maybe even the Manuska Valley, and also over the Seward Peninsula, Norton Sound area to the lower Yukon River Valley, and from St. Lawrence Island to about St. Matthew Island. And also look for some considerable moderate turbulence here for the eastern Aleutians and from areas around Adak westward, possibly to Kiska Island.